Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Underrated Mages. They'll be doing a video discussing the 100-year quest. But before I get to that, I just gotta say that if you guys are a fan of Twitch, if you guys are Twitch watchers, make sure you guys go and subscribe or follow my Twitch channel. I just made a whole Twitch thing. I will leave a link to that in the description down below. I'm going to start streaming some games over there. So yeah, if you guys use Twitch and if you guys like watching Twitch streams, make sure you guys support and go follow. But without further ado, let's go and get into the video. Now, with the 100-year quest, this is definitely one of the biggest mysteries in Fairy Tail, bar none. And the one thing that I like about this is that it was introduced early on. Yes, it was introduced way back early on in the series, and to this day we still don't really know too much about it. Now, the one thing that I do gotta say is that the 100-year quest is not something that everybody can go on. We saw when Natsu tried to go on to take one, Makarov, he ended up knocking him off the top floor. He was like, "What are you doing? Get down." He basically knocked Natsu down. So yeah, we basically know that no matter who, because we know Makarov, he does favor Natsu. He likes Natsu a lot, but it doesn't matter who you are. If you're not qualified to go on a 100-year quest, then you definitely aren't allowed to go and do one. Now, the thing with the 100-year quest, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background information about them, because I know some people, they might have forgotten about it, but we know that a 100-year quest, the main thing is that it takes 100 years. Yes, that is, it's in its name. Now, we know that there are such thing as a 10-year quest, and we've seen characters go on that before, like Gildarts, and they actually came back and completed it. But the 100-year quest, it's so difficult that it is said to have to take 100 years in order to complete it. And we know with the whole 10-year quest thing, that requires you to be an S-class mage. But if you go on a 100-year quest, you have to be an SS rank mage. So that just shows you the degree of difficulty that it is to go on the 100-year quest. You definitely have to be a very strong dude. And speaking of Gildarts, we know that Gildarts, he is the only character in this series that we know of to go on a 100-year quest. And that's just speaking some volumes, because let's be honest, Gildarts, he is the strongest, or one of the strongest. It's really a toss-up between him or Natsu at this point. Me personally, I'm still going with Gildarts, but Gildarts, he is the strongest character in the Fairy Tail Guild. So the fact that he's the only person to be able to go on it yet, yeah, that is definitely very spooky, because Gildarts, we know how much power he has. We saw a glimpse of him going all out back in the whole Tenro Island thing, and he basically was a monster. So if he went on a 100-year quest and he couldn't even complete it, yeah, you definitely know that there's some spooky things going on around there. So the 100-year quest, the fact that somebody like Gildarts couldn't even complete it, that is very, very spooky. And speaking of the 100-year quest, we know that this is where Gildarts first met Acronologia. And the reason why this is very spooky is because a 100-year quest, if he went on the fact that he went on a 100-year quest and he ended up encountering somebody like Acronologia, that is very spooky. Because let's be honest, you don't just see Acronologia just flying in the sky somewhere. Like, you don't just see him flying like in the sky. So you don't just encounter Acronologia on a daily basis. No, you only see Acronologia on very rare occasions. For example, we seen him with the whole Tenro Island thing. Like, he ended up showing up out of nowhere, and then the whole thing when the dragons end up coming back, he showed up out of nowhere too. So Acronologia, he doesn't make appearances often, and the fact that Gildarts ran into him while he was doing a quest, yeah, that is definitely very spooky. And we also do know that Gildarts basically met Acronologia on an island that he was guarding. So that is also a very key thing that we have to look into when it comes to the whole 100-year quest thing. What was Acronologia doing? How was he connected to the 100-year quest? And the fact that somebody like Acronologia is even linked to a 100-year quest, I'm not saying that the quest was to defeat Acronologia or anything, but the fact that he ended up running into Acronologia while on the quest, that just shows you how strong you have to be, because he is the strongest person in Fairy Tail. I'm talking about Acronologia. He's the strongest person in Fairy Tail. So the fact that you ran into him, that shows the degree of difficulty of the test. Now, me personally, I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about the whole Gildarts thing in the first 100-year quest and everything, after we got all the information soaked in, this made me believe, okay, so the 100-year quest basically is to take out Acronologia. That's what I was thinking. But little did we know, after we found out, it really wasn't to take out Acronologia. So at this point, I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Because we know that now Fairy Tail, we know that the main people of Fairy Tail, they're going to end up go out and they're going to go on the 100-year quest, and Acronologia is already defeated. So that just shows you that, yeah, it didn't involve Acronologia, so it was definitely something else. But that makes it even much more of a mystery, because now that we know that it doesn't involve Acronologia, and Acronologia, he was basically a very big mystery, it makes me think, what else on this planet, what else is something valuable or something so difficult that it takes 100 years to defeat? Because Acronologia, if the 100-year quest was to defeat Acronologia, that's understandable because he's OP. But the fact that it has nothing to do with Acronologia and it's still supposed to take 100 years, yeah, I'm very scared. And this is also another reason why I love the final chapter of Fairy Tail, because this final chapter just gave us a whole bunch, or gave me a whole bunch of new video ideas that I could do. And this is basically one of the biggest video ideas that I've had, and it revolves around the 100-year quest. Now, like I said, we know that Natsu and everybody else, they're basically setting out to go complete the 100-year quest. So now we know that Natsu, Gray, Urza, Lucy, Wendy, they're all classified as SS rank mages, and I think that's really cool because we've seen them early on. Like, I think it's really dope for especially people like Lucy, because when she first joined, she was very weak, you know, she wasn't necessarily the strongest person. But now the fact that they can all go on the 100-year quest together, this is very hype, this is very dope, and I do enjoy this part a lot, and I can't wait to see what the 100-year quest will be. Now, me personally, now that I know that the 100-year quest has nothing to do with the whole Acronologia thing, here is what I think the 100-year quest will be. I'm going to give you guys my predictions, so let's go. Me personally, I believe it has to do with fairies. Now, we know the whole motto with Fairy Tail. The whole thing is, do fairies really have tails? Yes, we know that Mavis, she basically came up with this whole slogan, this whole saying back when she was a child, and we know that she really incorporated it. She incorporated the idea when she first created the guild, and I do think that this is what the 100-year quest is. Now, the reason why I think it's going to take 100 years is because we've never actually seen like fairies in the series, so they would have to go out and go to a very sacred place. For example, the island that Acronologia was guarding, a lot of people, including myself, we believe that was like his home island. I wish we would have got a little bit more on Acronologia's past, because then that could have confirmed it or not. But nonetheless, the little island that Acronologia was seen flying around, maybe that's where fairies actually live, maybe that's where they harbor, and maybe that was actually a reason why Acronologia was flying around there. Because what if he was actually had to do something? What if he was actually trying to figure out if the fairies really do exist? Because Acronologia, he has a strong connection with Fairy Tail. Yes, he has a deep connection with Fairy Tail, so I can actually see that if Acronologia was actually seeing if fairies do exist, because we do know that he has a thing for taking out mythical creatures. And I think that if Acronologia would have saw a fairy, he would have definitely tried to skunk it, and by skunk I mean kill. Now, the one thing that I do gotta say is that I do hope that Fairy Tail actually does have a continuation, maybe some type of extra chapters, maybe a whole spin-off, I don't know. But I do think that Fairy Tail, the way that it ended, it didn't necessarily feel like an ending. Yes, Fairy Tail chapter 554, it did not feel like your typical ending for a series, and that's why I think that Fairy Tail, yeah, we will definitely get some type of spin-off that will have to do with this 100-year quest. Now, I'm not saying we're gonna get a whole 500 chapter series about them going on the quest, but I do think that Hiro Mashima, he is the type of man that will go out here and write a little spin-off, and it will actually be able to finalize the story. Because we know that Hiro Mashima, number one, he is no stranger to spin-offs. We know that his biggest spin-off was Fairy Tail Zero. Yes, that was basically a backstory about Fairy Tail, and we saw what that happened. And then we know he's done other spin-offs like the whole Gray and Gildarts, you know, Gagio. He's done multiple spin-offs, or he didn't necessarily do them all himself, but we know that he basically supervised them. He was basically the author, and he had people illustrate them, so he is no stranger to doing spin-offs. So I could definitely see Hiro Mashima doing some type of spin-off for this whole 100-year quest, and I think it would be dope. And not to mention the fact that it will be more Fairy Tail content. Yes, we know that the Fairy Tail anime is coming back in 2018, and I do think that if Hiro Mashima ends up writing this, if he does end up writing like a little spin-off, he could turn this into an OVA. Yes, we know OVAs, Fairy Tail, they have a lot of OVAs. Currently they have 7, and I definitely do think that if Hiro Mashima does want to write it, he'll definitely, or I think that the studio that does Fairy Tail, A1 Productions, I believe, they will definitely end up converting it to an OVA. So either way, it'll be a win-win situation. We'll be able to figure out what the 100-year quest is. Hiro Mashima, he'll be able to finish off Fairy Tail properly and give it an actual ending that feels like one, and in the studio, they'll be able to make that to an OVA, and they'll be able to make some cash off of it. Because I'm not gonna lie, even though a lot of people hate Fairy Tail, you can't deny the fact that it's very popular. In the OVAs, they always do seemingly good in ratings. So yeah, the studios, they're probably looking at Hiro Mashima like, so yeah, you trying to write this spin-off for us so we can make more cash, you feel me? So yeah, I can definitely see them doing a whole spin-off on the 100-year quest, and I think it will be amazing. But overall, what do you guys think about the 100-year quest? What do you guys think the 100-year quest is? Do you guys think that it has something to do with fairies? Do you guys think it had something to do with Acronologia? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll definitely be reading through the comments. Shout out to everybody who comes first. Everybody, I love you guys. Comment what you guys think down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.